crossing the Douqi Continent and becoming a descendant of the Mo family in Yancheng. Absorb energy, enhance strength, comprehend martial arts, cheat on yourself, traverse the continent. The new book Dou Po, a medicine refiner starting from the Yi family, has been released. Starting from the Yi family, the 5 major families in the Dan domain, to embark on a path of medicine refining that is different from Xiao Yan. I hope interested book enthusiasts can collect and recommend it. Keywords of the novel. Dou Po. I have a system panel without pop-ups, Dou Po. I have a system panel. Download the complete set of TXT and Dou Po. I have the latest chapters on the system panel to read. Chapter 1. Mohist Tang. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 1. Mohist Tang. In a spacious courtyard, everything around is slightly dilapidated, especially the overgrown weeds, which make it less popular. In the center of the courtyard paved with bluestone, a figure is rapidly flashing, and the surrounding Huahua sword light is shining, bringing bursts of wind-breaking sounds. Blade Gang. With a loud shout, the silver knife light instantly disappeared, and everything returned to calm. Mo Tang gasped for breath as he looked at the blade that had penetrated more than 3 inches into the wooden stake. His sweaty face carried a hint of helplessness, self-deprecating, and the remaining 4 were indifferent. It's really. The qualifications are quite poor. A 19-year-old boy with a strength that can reach the aura of 3 Dan combat, and even after nearly 10 years of practicing a Huangjie combat skill, he is still just a beginner. This original qualification is definitely top-notch in the middle of waist. Fortunately, I have a cheat. The reason why he still has the mood to despise this original body that has been pierced by his own soul is precisely because of this. With a gentle pull of his right hand in the air in front of him, a blue fluorescent image that only he could see appeared out of thin air. Just like a system panel for playing games in a past life, Mo Tang's cheat is just such an ordinary system panel, with 3 different attribute items on top. Upgrade panel, item bar, and map. Upgrading the panel is considered the main feature on this system panel, and it is also the golden finger that Moto will rely on for survival in the future. This panel can help Mo Tang absorb materials containing energy to obtain upgraded energy points, which can enhance his fighting spirit level, skill level, combat skill level, and so on. As for the item list, it goes without saying that the game backpack has similar properties to the Na ring on Douqi Continent. However, what surprised Mo Tang was that this map function really divided into 2 parts, big map and small map, like a game. A large map allows the host to make various special marks, but it can only be revealed after exploration, or it can be printed into the system map using a real map. On the other hand, a mini-map can actively display all the marked characters within a radius of 100 meters centered around him. And even use red, yellow, and green colors to represent their attitudes towards themselves. This feature has a significant impact on potential ambushes or pursuits in the future, but the only regret for Mo Tang is that the scope is too small. Only 100 meters away, it is still practical for people in the realm of fighters and masters, but when they reach a higher realm, they may appear a bit inferior as they jump out of range with just one big leap. Open the upgrade panel in the first column, and you will see a simple display of the basic information of Mo Tang. Name. Mo Tang level. Douqi Qi 3rd stage skill. Nun fighting skill. Triple blade gang, beginner, available energy points. 0. What a simple and unadorned panel, every detail is filled with the word poverty. Can't Nima make it taller? Of course, these are just some minor issues. The biggest problem for Mo Tang now is that he doesn't have any energy points. I clicked the up arrow behind the level. Is it necessary to increase the energy points required for the 4th stage of Douqi Qi by 8 points? Yes/no. Yes. Insufficient energy points, failed to improve. Side, just now it was just a lucky experiment. It seems that this system doesn't have any vulnerabilities. Although Mo Tang himself is a complete useless panel without a father, mother, and qualifications, his identity is not just an ordinary waste, but a waste born into a big family, the Mohist family, one of the 4 major families in the eastern provinces of the Gama Empire. Although its power may not be as powerful as that of the Chen Lin family, it should not be underestimated. Especially the power center that has been entrenched in the east of the empire and far away from the capital for years, makes them almost deeply rooted there, appearing like a local hegemon, and very few people dare to provoke them. As the headquarters city of the Mohist school, Yancheng was also the largest city in the eastern province of the empire. With a large population and abundant resources, backed by the holy land of the Gama Empire, Yunlan sect, the Mohists have complete control over everything here. Even the lord of the city, who is nominally the highest official of the empire in Salt City, must look at his face. He is definitely a behemoth in the eyes of ordinary people and must not be provoked. So even if he doesn't have the strength, he's just an optional collateral member in the Mo family. But when he goes out, he wears family emblem clothes embroidered with the word ink on his chest, and even those mercenaries who lick blood with their swords don't want to provoke him just. If Tang remembers correctly, it seems that this Mo school will become one of the small villains in the future who pretend to be forced to face the protagonist, and even the elder who serves as the pillar of the family has been killed. Although as long as he is useless enough, this matter cannot ultimately involve him. But if the Mohist school really falls, all the halo he enjoys now will disappear in an instant. If at that time I couldn't have the strength to establish myself in this world, then it would be disastrous. I don't know which time period it is now. I haven't heard any words or phrases about the 3-year agreement, probably the plot hasn't started yet. In the memory of Tang, the eldest son of the Mo family, Li, was a disciple of the Yunlan sect. And she has a good impression of Nalen Yanran, the disciple personally passed down by the sect leader. From the rumors he accidentally heard about the Mohist guards, it seemed that Nalen Yanran had become the wife of their Mohist eldest son, and it was already a foregone conclusion. For this reason, many people were imagining the grand occasion in which their own eldest son would lead the entire Mohist family to rise to become comparable to the 3 major clans of the empire in the future. Regarding this, Tang can only say in his heart, "Idiot." With the qualifications of Li, who only broke through the Dou at the age of 18, if it weren't for the Mo family submitting a large number of offerings to Yunlan sect every year, he probably wouldn't have been able to enter their inner door. Surprisingly, you still want to have the idea passed down by the sect leader. With your little white face. After closing the system panel, Tang put away his long knife, then took a shower with boiling water alone, changed his clothes, and finally entered his bedroom. A small box made of rosewood was taken out from the dark compartment at the head of the bed. Upon opening it, there was a dried beige flower wrapped in brocade and a turquoise jade box the size of a fist, sealed with special techniques. And below the small flower and jade box, after opening the second layer of the partition, there is a quaint scroll placed. These are all the belongings left by his father, Mo Yun, who had the strength of a 4-star fighter and used to be a guard of the Mo family. This is also his reliance on overcoming the most difficult period in the early stages. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. About the system. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 about the system, discovered low-level energy. 16 points, absorbed. Yes/no. Yes. This beige small flower is a spiritual herb called Yancheng. Although there is no clear level division for these spiritual herbs on Douqi Continent like elixirs, in terms of rarity alone, this Yancheng is still very good. 16 energy points. According to the system's setting, this Yancheng can be compared to an ordinary second-grade pill. This is very amazing. You should know that the market price of a Yancheng plant does not exceed 600 gold coins at most, and a second-grade pill is definitely more than 10 times this price. In this case, it would be very uneconomical to obtain pills and other things in the future, and then let the system absorb them. I don't know what the criteria for judging this system are. Tang muttered to himself. And there is also one thing that Tang noticed: which is that the energy level given by the system is low. That is, it can only be used to improve the level of Dou Po and below. This is also related to the rules of the system. In the system, energy is divided into low-level energy, intermediate energy, and high-level energy. The first to third level energy levels are low-level energy, which is invalid for Douqi level and above realms. The fourth to sixth level energy level is intermediate energy, which is invalid for Douqi level and above levels. The seventh to ninth level energy levels are advanced energy and are invalid for levels above Douqi. This is also easy to understand. After all, in the cultivation of Douqi, there is a watershed between the Great Douqi and the Douqi. After condensing the Douqi, the Douqi will also have a qualitative improvement. As for Douhuang and Douxong, let alone Douxong. Above the realm of Douxong, one can control the power of space, which is completely stepping into different levels. It can be said that they have both been elevated at the level of life. 16 points of energy is just enough for Tang to increase his cultivation level from the third level of Douqi to the fourth level, or he can also increase the yellow level advanced fighting skill triple sword light trapped in the entry-level stage to a small achievement. However, either of these two options has very limited impact on Tang's current combat effectiveness, so he did not blindly start adding points to himself. After being absorbed with energy, the originally fragrant beige flower suddenly withered and turned into a useless hay. Then Tang's gaze turned to the green jade box next to him, discovered low-level energy. 4 points, absorbed. Yes/no. Tang twitched the corner of his mouth and looked at the irregular crystal in the jade box, which was sparkling with silver. The first-level thunder attribute of the demon core of the Warcraft Thunderwolf is definitely more valuable in the outside world than the Elan Xiang, but the energy difference between the two is 4 times. Whoever absorbs this is a fool. No. Tang made a choice with a dark face, but his heart was very unhappy. It seems that the value in reality has nothing to do with the system's judgment. In this case, we can only sell it for money and then purchase some spiritual medicines with lower real value but higher value in the system's evaluation. I am still too poor now, and I can't help but think that Tang is not careful. I must take the right first step to strive for it. There's no way, although my original father still had some strength and power during his lifetime, he has been dead for 10 years. Ants have been racing for 10 years. His father's little network influence has long been forgotten. If Tang, who has no qualifications, is not reincarnated by himself, then he can only be an ordinary person at the bottom of his life, living a lonely and helpless life. But now everything is different as the center of the universe. A traveler on Earth, Tang doesn't think that this continent with its own fighting spirit is still the protagonist of Xiao Yan taking the magic core. Tang carefully placed the box and the Douqi cultivation scroll inside into the dark grid again, and then walked out of the yard with his long sword. Standing at the end of the street, Tang looked at the headquarters of the Mo family, which was as solid as a small fortress, and couldn't help but shake his head. This Mo family was truly the most powerful family in the eastern provinces of the Gamma Empire. Just this heavily defended fortress alone had invested a lot of financial resources to build. On the towering wall, patrols and defenses were set up every few tens of meters. In some gaps, Tang could vaguely see the sharp arrow blades shining with a cold gleam in the sunlight. According to Tang's understanding, there are at least a dozen blind spots blocking the view above this fortress of the Mo family. If anyone wants to enter from the sky, they are afraid that the countless arrows hidden in the dark will immediately turn the offender into a hedgehog. This is the true stronghold of the Mohist school. Mohist Fort. Mohist Fort, located in the center of Yancheng, can be called the city within the city. Inside the fortress, there lived all the legitimate and middle and senior members of the Mohist school, while as a small and transparent collateral, Tang could only live in the neighborhood outside the fortress as a presence for the Mohist school's peripheral guards. The Mohist family has been established here for hundreds of years and has already become a prominent family with thousands of people. Except for the Mohist lineage and middle and high levels, the remaining 2 neighborhoods around Maojia Castle are all inhabited by people with the Mohist surname. This can also be considered one of the benefits that the family brings to these ordinary people, being able to live in such an excellent location in the city center. Fortunately, no one in Douqi mainland is engaged in real estate. Otherwise, relying on the Tang family's location, which is also a bustling area in the center of the provincial capital city, he could have squandered his entire life just by eating rent. Unfortunately, Tang looked at the tall fortress, shook his head slightly and sighed, then tugged at his clothes that represented his identity, and Xiao Yan walked towards the commercial street outside. Due to the hegemonic monopoly of the Mohist school, nearly 60% of the industries in Yancheng belong to the Mohist school. Even after removing some necessary taxes and a large amount of property to establish relationships, the annual profits continue to fatten the Mohist school. Although the tree is large and easy to attract attention, with the giant Yunlan sect as the background, even the royal family of the Gama Empire would not easily trouble the Mohist school. So, under such reckless development, the influence of the Mohist school has almost become the local hegemon of Yancheng. If it weren't for the other 3 families in the eastern provinces restraining it, the Mohist school would have expanded its influence to other big cities long ago. However, even so, in recent years, the Mohist school has relied on a powerful background to steadily suppress the remaining 3 major families, appearing as a dominant figure. As the saying goes, staying in a high position for a long time leads to lifelong ambition. The Mohist II emperor has been in power for a long time, and many members of the family have become confused. They are always envious of the things offered to Yunlan sect every year, and even begin to fantasize about when the Mohist family will be able to control Yunlan sect under such unrealistic ambitions. Cheng began to devote himself to studying the half-hearted transplantation technique created by the ancestors of the Mo school, hoping to enhance his strength through this crooked way. In the end, he had his mind set on the 3 flower pupils of the blue snake with green scales, and was then approached by a bunch of strong men. It's a typical case of self-inflicted death. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Buying Medicine. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Buying medicine. Walking in the bustling commercial street, looking at the numerous shops on both sides, the vast majority of them are marked with the word Mo, indicating that these are all industries of the Mohist school. I casually found a shop that looked quite large, and Tang walked in directly. "Oh my, guest, please come in and invite. As soon as I entered the door, the staff's melodious shouts spread far away. Especially after seeing Tang dressed as a descendant of the Mo family, his face immediately became even more enthusiastic. There's no way, these people are all pointing to the Mo family for meals, and many of them are even slaves of the Mo family, so even if they encounter collateral descendants of the Mo family, they still have to greet each other with a smile. Perhaps there may be some bloody incidents between the descendants of the Mo family, but for those ordinary people with different surnames, the entire Mo family is a whole. What is the price of the first-level magic core now?" Tang asked directly. The shop assistant smiled and asked, "Customer, do you want to buy or sell?" Mudun, I always feel like this damn thing is conniving at me." Glancing at the somewhat less intelligent guy, Tang couldn't help but say, "Of course it's selling." "Bah! It's selling magic cores." In the bewildered gaze of the other person, if the customer wants to sell it, it depends on what kind of magic core it is. The price of magic cores with different attributes and levels also varies. Although I felt that the young man in front of me was not very intelligent, the salesperson replied very professionally. "The magic core of the first-level Peak Thunderwolf." Tang directly took out the jade box and said. The shop assistant's eyes suddenly lit up. Thunder Attribute Magic Core. It's still the magic core of the first-level Peak Demon Beast Thunderwolf. This is a good thing. Just a moment, I'll go and invite the shopkeeper. Don't think that the value of a first-level magic core is very low, it also depends on its attributes. Warcraft like wind and thunder, which are good at speed and attack, are very difficult to catch, and even require a master-level warrior to catch them, so the price will be higher. After a moment, a middle-aged man in a brocade robe walked out and saw Mo Tang. He immediately smiled and said, "You are also from the Mo family. Do you dare to ask your name?" Mo Tang nodded with a faint smile and said, "I am Mo Tang. My father's name is Mo Yun." "There's no way, no one knows the name Mo Tang at all, so we can only use it to pull out the dead ghost father." Oh. Middle age has a sudden realization. But my heart was spinning rapidly, thinking about who this Mo Tang was. Who is Mo Yun again? After a moment, the middle-aged man finally thought of someone and said again, Mo Yun. But the Mo Yun who was a guard under the Grand Elder 10 years ago. Speaking of the Elder, there is only one person, and that is the true pillar of the Mohist school, Mo Cheng. Also the unlucky guy who was trampled to death by Xiao Yan like a dead dog in the original work. My original father was also considered a very famous figure in the Mohist school at the time, and he was Mo Cheng's confidant. Although he died a bit early, he still had some impressions like an old man in the Mohist school. Exactly. Mo Tang nodded. Ha, it turned out to be Mo Yun's younger brother's son. I didn't expect him to be so old. I had a lot of contact with Mo Yun's younger brother back then. While trying to establish a relationship, the middle-aged man said, "My dear nephew, old man Huang He, just call me Uncle Huang. I heard that you, my dear nephew, want to attack a top-notch Thunderwolf demon core." Yeah, Mo Tang handed the magic core to the other party and casually said, "Uncle Huang, please take a look." Huang He opened the jade box and carefully examined it, then nodded and said, Not bad. It is indeed the top-tier Thunderwolf demon core. Although there has been some internal energy loss, it is not much, and the impact is not significant." Mo Tang listened quietly. This is all an old trick. First pick on the goods and then lower the price. Don't think that just calling out "virtuous nephew" and "yellow uncle" really makes you a nephew. In the face of business, this kind of relationship is nothing. Now Mo Tang only hopes that Huang He in front of him won't be too harsh on him. After a while of ink stains, Huang He finally put down his things and said seriously, "All right, this is also my first time coming to my uncle's store, my dear nephew. I can't help but express that I received this magic core at a premium of 2 layers, 800 gold coins. How about that?" Mo Tang's mind turned rapidly. At this price, it is indeed 200 to 300 gold coins more expensive than ordinary first-level magic cores, but considering that this is the peak of first-level magic cores and a rare thunder attribute, having this price can only be considered fair. As for what the premium is, just listen to these words. Okay, just follow what Uncle Huang said. Mo Tang's obedience made Huang He's smile even stronger. This thing can be sold for at least 1,000 gold when sold, and if it were to find an alchemist, the price might even be higher, so Huang He's chubby face and smiling eyes can't even be seen. By the way, Uncle Huang, I want to buy some medicinal herbs with this money. Huang He frowned and immediately said, "All right, my virtuous nephew wants to assist in cultivation, right? Then I think you can buy some strong bone vines, which can enhance the strength of the human body's muscles and bones. The effect is still very good before the fighter. As for the pill," Huang He didn't even mention it. Because he knew very well that with just a few hundred gold coins in Mo Tang's hand, he couldn't even afford the lowest level of auxiliary cultivation pills. That thing starts at over 5,000 gold. Ordinary people may work hard and even spend 100 or 200 gold coins to buy something like Tang, and then go home to boil it into soup to drink. Mo Tang shook his head and said, "I want to buy something that can help cultivate Douqi." "That's okay," Huang He nodded and then turned around to take out a few boxes from inside. After opening them, several herbs were revealed. "These are all, can you see which one you want?" Discovered low-level energy. 3 points, absorbed. Yes/no. Discovered low-level energy. 4 points, absorbed. Yes/no. Tang calmly reviewed all these herbs, compared their prices, and finally chose the most cost-effective medicinal herb, wolfen grass, with 400 gold coins per plant, which can provide him with 4 energy points, making it the most cost-effective. Before I could even cover up the 800 gold coins I had just received, I spent them again to buy 2 black wind grass plants. But overall, it's not a loss. This way of purchasing spiritual grass in shops is very uneconomical for the current Tang, so he plans to arm himself and then go out of the city to the mountains 30 miles outside the city. Although that mountain cannot compare to the resource-rich Warcraft mountains, there are also some ordinary elixirs in the mountain. More importantly, most of the people living there are just ordinary beasts. Unless they truly delve deep into the mountains, they may encounter some first and second level monsters, while higher level monsters do not exist at all. So in terms of safety, as long as you are well prepared, Tang doesn't have to worry too much about losing his own life. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Encountering Werewolves in the Wild. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Encountering Werewolves in the Wild. With the 8 energy points provided by 2 black wind grasses, Tang now has a total of 24 energy points. However, he did not choose to increase his level of fighting energy. Because he had already seen before that upgrading from the 3rd level to the 4th level of Douqi requires 8 points of energy, and upgrading to the 5th level is definitely higher. Therefore, these 24 points may seem like a lot, but they are not enough to help him improve to the 6th level of Douqi. However, these 24 points of energy are completely enough for him to elevate his yellow-level advanced fighting skill Triple Blade Gang to the ultimate stage. The Huang-level advanced combat skills at the Deshang level, even if Tang is just a waste of the 3-stage fighting chi, their combat power is definitely stronger than the 5-stage fighting chi, which only masters the entry-level combat skills. Just because the fighting spirit is too thin, although his explosive combat power is strong, the duration will be very short, 5 seconds, real man. Do you want to be a coward for a lifetime, or a true man for 5 seconds? It is obvious that Tang chose the latter. Double tap the upgrade button behind Triple Blade Gang, instantly name. Tang level. Douqi Chi 3rd stage skill. Nun fighting technique. Triple Blade Gang, Yancheng, available energy points. 0. In an instant, Tang's mind immediately elevated several levels of understanding and application of the Triple Blade Gang fighting technique. At the same time, he also felt that his body had gained more instinctive memories about the Triple Blade Gang. In just a few breaths, Tang has been practicing for 10 years without any small success, and the Triple Blade Light has directly reached the level of great success. This made Tang, who was using his cheats for the first time, take a breath and make some contribution to the greenhouse effect of the entire Douqi Continent. After returning to his small courtyard, Tang couldn't wait to pull out his long sword from his waist and began practicing in the yard. Although this fighting technique is not like a set of martial arts and knife techniques in the world of martial arts, after the completion of the Triple Blade Gang, Tang still felt that this sword had become a part of his arm at this moment, and each sword was effortlessly wielded, like a finger in an arm. In this way, even if you encounter those beasts who are good at ambushing in the mountains, you can quickly react and not be directly killed by them. In such a comparison, it is indeed the most correct choice to enhance combat skills, and Tang breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. Finally, my first step was not wrong. The next morning, Tang, who had everything ready, took a cold sharp long sword that he had specifically purchased from the weapon shop yesterday and walked out of his house. His destination is Yunfeng Mountain, 30 miles outside the city. It is not a solitary mountain, but a continuous mountain range. Although it cannot compare to the boundless mountains of the Warcraft mountains, the mountains are steep, with numerous beasts and abundant resources, which feed many surrounding towns and mercenaries. It's just that the resource levels here are too low to be seen by big powers like the Mohist school, which is why they have given space for those small forces to survive. Otherwise, if there were giants like the Mohist sitting in Yancheng, this mountain range would have become their private property. At the foot of the mountain, Tang did not choose to team up with others. After all, firstly, one's own cultivation level is too low, and others do not appreciate it. Furthermore, Tang was also afraid that those guys would eat black, so he buried himself directly in this deep mountain forest because it was the first time Tang didn't dare to delve too deeply, just dawdling on the edge, wanting to familiarize himself with the jungle environment first. After all, he was not a survival expert in his past life, had not delved into deep mountains and forests, and lacked corresponding knowledge reserves. However, I don't know how many people have ravaged this periphery, and I haven't even found a single strand of hair. So although I'm a bit reluctant, Tang can only admit his misfortune and cautiously touch deeper. Jumping onto a big tree, like Sun Monkey, he carried branches and set up a pergola to scan the surroundings, then found no danger on the small map. Tang quietly touched a shady shrub and found a white mushroom-like plant amidst the thick dead branches and fallen leaves. Oh! Is this a white mushroom umbrella? Tang recognized the name of the object and immediately smiled. Discovered low-level energy. 3 points, absorbed. Yes/no. Yes. Unexpectedly, as soon as he entered the mountains, he gained something. Tang felt that his previously lost luck had returned. As long as he finds a few more of these plants, Tang can directly enhance his fighting spirit. After boosting himself in his heart, Tang walked deeper with his knife. In the next 2 hours, except for encountering a big wild boar that was taller than a calf, nothing else was found. Fortunately, this wild boar was not small, but just an ordinary beast, so it was easily chopped to death by Tang. Put this thing directly into your backpack, prepare to go back and find someone to handle it, and then use it as a meat reserve for your future life. After walking for about half an hour, Tang suddenly realized that there was a basin-sized object growing in front of him, like a white jade, just a few tens of meters away from a mountain crevice. What is this thing? Tang was pleasantly surprised. Although he didn't know each other, he didn't seem to be an ordinary product. Even if he didn't have much energy, he could definitely sell for a good price. But after the surprise, he suddenly became alert again. After all, he is not really a rough guy of 17 or 18 years old, and he always has some doubts about things that seem like happiness comes from heaven. Every story of pie falling from the sky has a chubby man eating with a mouth full of oil on his head. Maybe there might be some bad intentions. His vigilance really startled him. A rustling sound came from behind my ears. The sound of footsteps. Tang was aroused and instantly placed his long sword horizontally in front of him, then turned around. I saw 5 or 6 big blue wolves, and I don't know when they surrounded him in the middle. Then looking up at the stone just now, I didn't know when there was already a wolf standing there, 3 times more majestic than these blue wolves. The head wolf stood there from a high position, staring coldly at him, making Tang unable to resist a chill from behind. Damn it, I've made the same old habit again. Playing games without looking at the mini-map deserves to be gank. Is it Warcraft? But it shouldn't be. It's only near the middle of the mountain range here, how could there be any Warcraft? But before he could think about it, the blue wolves surrounding him had already begun to attack him. Ow! The nearest green wolf leapt forward directly. Tang's eyes were like lightning, and he turned his long sword in his hand. While evading the attack of the green wolf, the blade that passed by in the wrong direction took advantage of the opponent's impact and instantly opened its chest. This is the benefit that Triple Blade Gang has brought when it reaches its ultimate level. For the use of the long sword in his hand, Tang has reached a level of freedom. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Strength Enhancement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Strength Enhancement. Ahem. Seeing my little brother being killed, the wolf immediately let out a wolf howl. Originally, Tang thought that this thing was going to come and seek revenge, but he didn't expect that it was just urging other guys to take action. On the contrary, it stood there without any intention of joining in. There's something strange. Tang, who had calmed down, felt a stir in his heart. If the other party is really a warcraft, even if it's just a first-level junior warcraft, they probably rushed over and tore him apart. But now it looks like that wolf has no intention of joining. Are you looking down on yourself? This idea flashed by in a flash. Mind it. Seeking wealth insurance. The thing he just saw was clearly not an ordinary thing, and Tang subconsciously felt that if he got it, it would definitely give him a huge surprise, so he couldn't give up. I have made a decision in my heart. After dodging the wolf kiss that rushed towards him again, Tang's whole body moved forward instead of retreating, and he ejaculated directly towards the stone where the head wolf was located. Triple Blade Gang. The mournful blade slashed through the air, even with a faint and piercing sound. A layer of elusive airflow formed on the blade, forming a white air blade directly on the blade, although not even fighters, let alone attaching fighting spirit to weapons. But with the added power of Yancheng's fighting skills, Tang's sword carried a bit of an unwavering determination to kill. Strive forward with the dragon-slaying sword, turn all swords back and slay ghosts and gods. Of course, Tang is not the only one with 10,000 swords, nor is he holding the dragon-slaying sword. But what he is facing is just a wild wolf who doesn't even count as a warcraft. No matter how big his head is, what? Should it be waist or waist? Puzzy. Tears in the neck. A huge wolf head has already been cut in half by Tang's knife. It's not that his knife is not sharp enough, but because the wolf's reaction is also quick, and under avoidance, his knife deviates a bit. But the impact is not significant. Even if one avoids being beheaded directly, their head has already drooped to their shoulders, and no matter how strong their vitality is, they cannot survive. This sudden scene startled all the green wolves around. Especially the head wolf struggling and howling on the ground. Seeing that the blood had already dyed the ground red, these green wolves finally became afraid, staring at Tang, who still stood with a knife and a fierce expression of killing intent. The remaining few green wolves slowly retreated in their bodies, and finally plunged directly into the forest and ran away. Seeing this scene, Tang finally breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. If these guys really go crazy and rush forward, I guess even if they can kill them all, they will still get hurt. And although it was just a knife, he already felt empty inside. The already thin fighting spirit had just been depleted, and at that moment his legs were a bit weak. Tang dared not linger any longer and directly put several wolf corpses back into his backpack, then jumped to the white object. Discovered low-level energy. 30 points, absorbed. Yes/no. Yes. Tang felt great joy in his heart. Surprisingly, there are 30 energy points, which is twice as much as ordinary second-grade spirit grass. What exactly is this thing? How could it be so valuable? Watching it turn into a pile of powder without any luster, Tang couldn't help but secretly speculate. However, he is not an alchemist and has no idea what to distinguish between medicinal herbs, so he can only keep an eye out for it and ask someone when he goes back. Suddenly, there are 30 more energy points, and with the previous white mushroom umbrella, now Tang has a total of 33 energy points. Name. Tang level. Douqi Qi 3rd stage skill. Nun fighting technique. Triple Blade Gang, Yancheng, available energy point. 33, low level. Tang immediately chose to increase his cultivation level. Is it necessary to increase the low-level energy points required for the 4th stage of Douqi Qi by 8 points? Yes/no. Yes. Is it necessary to increase the low-level energy points required for the 5th stage of Douqi Qi by 10 points? Yes/no. Yes. Is it necessary to increase the low-level energy points required for the 6th stage of Douqi Qi by 12 points? It was only after reaching the 6th level of Douqi that it stopped. The level doubled directly, and for a while, Tang felt that he was full of strength all over. He wished he could find a warcraft to compete with now. Name: Tang level. Douqi Qi 6th stage skill. Nun fighting technique. Triple blade gang, Yancheng, available energy points. 3. Low level. At this moment, Tang wanted to shout loudly from the sky, "Who else is there?" In less than a second, the qi of the 3-section Dou was increased. Even if Xiao Yan drank the foundation building spirit liquid directly, he would definitely not achieve his terrifying increased speed. For a moment, Tang's heart began to swell extremely. Just as Tang had already felt that he was about to be invincible in the world, suddenly, a roar from afar interrupted his imagination. Roar. Listening to the sound, it should be the roar of some kind of bear, broad and heavy, giving people an intangible sense of oppression. However, at this moment, Tang, who was full of confidence, his eyes lit up and he immediately reached for the direction of the sound with his knife. It's not that he really lost his eyes due to his skyrocketing strength. But from the group of green wolves just now, it seems that there are no warcraft beasts in this range, and if it's just a group of wild beasts, even the most wild beasts would not pose any danger to Tang in the face of him at this moment. It was only after confirming this that Tang dared to act so recklessly. However, obviously, this incident was not as simple as he had anticipated. Watching a black-haired bear over 2 meters tall appear in the field of vision, Tang's eyebrows immediately furrowed. This is a first-order warcraft black bear. How could this thing appear here? Although in terms of body size, the warcraft in front of us should only have the strength of a first-level beginner or so, bear-type warcraft is already incredibly powerful. Therefore, even if it is only a first-level beginner, it requires at least 2 or 3 fighters at least 3 stars to win. Of course, that's about frontal combat. Tang's eyes narrowed slightly, and the knife in his hand couldn't help but tighten. If it's a surprise attack, as long as you can quickly and seriously injure the opponent, it's very likely to take down this stupid bear. My triple blade gang is a high-level combat skill of the yellow rank, and its power has been well verified from the scene just now. In addition, this black-furred bear is just a very ordinary warcraft, with no other abilities except for its greater strength, so Tang is very confident that as long as he successfully attacks, he can take down the opponent. Seeking wealth insurance. Since it has been decided, don't hesitate. Tang's murderous intent flashed in his eyes, and then he took advantage of the opponent's lowered head and prepared to strike with a long sword in an instant. A flash of lightning flashed, and the sharp blade had landed on the opponent's black mane. Recommended tickets. Recommended tickets. Recommended tickets. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Make a big profit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Make a big profit. Success. Tang was overjoyed in his heart. However, in an instant, a sound of metal and iron colliding instantly pulled him from heaven to hell. Damn it. This is not a black-haired bear. It's an underage iron-backed bear. However, it seemed a bit late to recognize it at this point. The little iron-backed bear, who was originally feeling comfortable and wanted to eat some wild fruits to improve his taste, suddenly felt a sharp pain in his neck. Then he saw a hairless monkey holding something and chopping at himself. Can this Nima tolerate it? Roar. After an angry roar, the basin-sized bear paw had already been slapped directly against the chest. Damn it. Tang's face changed and he directly placed his long sword across his chest. Bang bang. With a crisp sound, the cold wind long sword, which was originally praised by the shop owner as a flower, was directly snapped in two. However, with this buffer, the immense power carried by the bear's paw was also greatly weakened. When it landed on Tang's chest again, it only made him spit out a mouthful of blood, but did not break the bone. With this tremendous force, Tang flipped over and landed on the ground dozens of meters away, then without hesitation, turned his head and ran. Only the angry roar of the iron-backed bear and the crisp sound of knocking down the tree trunk remained behind. But in the end, due to his bulky body and slow speed, he could only watch the hairless monkey in front of him skillfully enter the forest and disappear. At the outermost edge of Yunfeng Mountain, a young man who looked quite disheveled rushed out from inside, attracting the attention of some mercenaries who were preparing to enter the mountain. However, when they saw the appearance of young people, most of them had a look of schadenfreude and ridicule in their eyes. Although there are no dangerous warcraft in Yunfeng Mountain, there are quite a few carnivorous beasts inside. Surprisingly, one person dares to rush in so unknowingly. It's already lucky to be able to survive. However, when a middle-aged mercenary closest to the young man saw the huge bear paw mark on his chest, his entire pupils suddenly shrank, and then he immediately changed his expression and walked towards the young man. "Brother, are you injured?" the middle-aged mercenary asked with a friendly expression on his face. "Come on, I have some healing medicine here, take it." A few young mercenaries next to them looked at their captain's movements and felt a bit puzzled. Although this healing medicine is not precious, it still costs a lot of gold coins. Is that all for a stranger? However, out of trust in the captain, although they were puzzled, they remained silent. This disheveled young man is naturally Tang, who narrowly escaped from the clutches of iron-backed bear. Watching the sudden appearance of a middle-aged man who still cared about him, Tang was not grateful, but suddenly became wary. Since knowing what kind of world he was reborn into, Tang has been viewing this world with the utmost malice. Because in this world, the most basic survival rule is the jungle rule of survival of the fittest. Even in the most peaceful country I lived in my past life, there was a saying that, if you don't pay attention to anything, it's either cheating or stealing, let alone now. Thank you very much. It's just a minor injury, it's not a problem. Tang patted the dust and broken leaves on his body, and inadvertently revealed the coat of arms of the Mo family on his chest. There's no way, the weakest people on the other side are all fighters. As a little guy with a 6-stage fighting aura, it's better to be careful. Sure enough, the middle-aged mercenary in front of him changed his expression slightly when he saw the words of the Mohist school exposed in the broken area of his chest. I didn't expect my little brother to be a member of the Mohist school. It's really disrespectful. Tang pretended to sigh and shook his head, saying, "Uncle, you're welcome. I'm just a follower of the Mo family." The middle-aged mercenary smiled and turned his voice to ask, "By the way, I'm Xiao Mosen, the captain of the Iron Fist mercenary squad. How do you call me, little brother?" Tang clasped his fists and said, "I'm Tang." Sen looked at Tang and asked with a smile, "Did Tang encounter any accidents?" Tang looked unlucky and shook his head, sighing, "Oh, stop talking. I was originally planning to search for some herbs in this mountain, but I didn't expect to be so unlucky that I met an iron-backed bear. I almost got beaten to death by that beast." Iron-backed bear. Sen's face changed, and then he said with some suspicion, "Tang brothers, did you read it correctly? Is it really a third-level demon beast, iron-backed bear?" Upon seeing this, Tang immediately looked suspicious and angry, saying, "Can I still deceive you? It's just that iron-backed bear is probably not yet an adult, with only one level of strength at most. It's just that iron-backed bear's defense is amazing, and its strength is infinite, which is why I ended up in such a miserable situation. Surprisingly, it's an underage iron-backed bear." Sen was overjoyed in his heart. You should know that adult iron-backed bears are third-order warcraft, and they are invulnerable to weapons and knives. Even Big Dipper masters have no way to deal with them. If this kid in front of me hadn't lied to me and was really an underage iron-backed bear, as long as I and others caught it alive and sold it, it could even be sold for tens of thousands of gold coins. With this in mind, the excitement on Sen's face could no longer be concealed. He urgently asked, "Do you know where the iron-backed bear is now?" If you are willing to take us over, I am willing to offer 1,000 gold coins as a reward. 1,000. Tang was pleased in his heart, but his face remained calm. Instead, he sneered and said, 1,000. Does Uncle Momo think I'm easy to deceive because I'm young? A live small iron-backed bear can sell for at least 50,000 gold coins or more, and even up to 100,000 gold coins can be sold at an auction. Now you're talking about 1,000. You're teasing me. Mosen's face changed, but at this moment a young man behind him couldn't help but walk out in a cold voice and say, I'm just asking you to lead the way. 1,000 gold coins is not enough. Even if that iron-backed bear is worth anything, it was caught by us at all costs. What does it have to do with you? No big deal, let's find it ourselves. With just your strength and how far you can go, I don't believe we can't find it. Upon seeing this, Tang gave a cold smile and said, Hee, since that's the case, then you can find it yourself. However, this pair of iron-backed bears are not only interested in your mercenary team. You. The young man suddenly became furious. Lin Gang, shut up. Mosen's face turned ugly and he stopped drinking the young man named Lin Gang. Watching Tang, who had already finished eating himself, Mosen felt a bit angry in his heart. It's just that the other party happened to grasp their own weakness, forcing them to make concessions. Okay. Brother Tang, how much do you want? Mosen had to choose compromise, otherwise if it continued to be delayed, the little iron-backed bear might be caught by others. Even if no one encounters it, it is still alive, who knows where it will run. If you enter the depths of Yunfeng Mountain, it's too late to say anything. 10,000. Tang pulled out his ear and the lion spoke loudly. Impossible. Mosen refused directly. Up to 5,000. 9,000. 6,000. Then. 8,000. 6,000. I'll go, how could you bargain like that? Tang said discontentedly. Believe me, I'm just letting you lead the way. No one would offer a higher price than this, said Mosen firmly. If it weren't for worrying about something unexpected, Momo would never have been the scapegoat. Okay. Pay first, and then I'll take you to find Little Iron Bear. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Third Class Guard. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Third Class Guard. With the help of the map page on the system panel, Tang easily found the little iron-backed bear with the Iron Fist mercenary team, and then quickly left Yunfeng Mountain. He was originally wary of whether the other party would turn back and take action against him after finding the target. I didn't expect it to be because he was overthinking it. Tang estimated that his own identity should have played a significant role in this. After all, mercenaries who want to make a living within the Yancheng area are unwilling to engage in conflict with the Mo family unless absolutely necessary. Even if the other party doesn't seem to be doing well in the Mohist school, returning to his own courtyard, Tang, who seemed to be on the verge of falling apart, was finally able to relax. I threw myself directly onto the bed, but my inner excitement was not affected by fatigue. Entering the mountain once not only increased one's strength to the 6th level of Douqi, but also earned 6,000 gold coins. So much money. He has enough spiritual herbs to absorb energy points. It seemed that he had already seen a beautiful future waving to him, and Tang was so excited that he couldn't sleep for a moment after a drowsy night. Early the next morning, Tang couldn't help but get up and ran to the commercial street to prepare to buy spiritual grass. Now that he has money himself, he is ready to see if he can buy those rare spiritual medicines with more energy points. Unfortunately, after several comparisons, he could only purchase Wufenkeo because it was the only one with the highest cost. Effectiveness. Spending 4,800 gold coins, he directly purchased 12 plants of black wind grass. Under the eerie gaze of the salesperson, Tang swept away the black wind grass in Huanghe's store. Although this thing can improve the accumulation speed of Douqi Qi in the human body, the effect is not good, and if a plant of Wufeng grass is soaked in a medicinal bath, it can be used for at least half a month. So few people would directly purchase so much black wind grass. It's not for eating. Tang couldn't control the thoughts of a shop assistant for the time being. After obtaining the herbs he needed, he hurriedly returned home. 12 black wind grass plants directly provide 48 energy points to Missouri Tang. At this point, his panel properties are name. Tang level. Douqi Qi 6th stage skill. Nun fighting technique. Triple blade gang, Yancheng, available energy point. 51, low level, 51 energy points are enough to significantly increase his strength again. Is it necessary to increase the low-level energy points required for the 7th stage of Douqi Qi by 14 points? Yes/no, yes. Is it necessary to increase the low-level energy points required for the 8th stage of Douqi Qi by 16 points? Yes/no, yes. Is it necessary to increase the low-level energy points required for the 9th stage of Douqi Qi by 18 points? Name. Tang level. Douqi Qi Jodan skill. Nun fighting technique. Triple blade gang, Yancheng, available energy points. 3, low level. In just a few days, Tang has gone from being an iron waste in the 3rd stage of Douqi Qi to a genius in the 9th stage of Douqi Qi. If it weren't for the fact that the energy points required for advanced fighters from the 9th stage of Douqi Qi are a bit high, they would definitely strive to spend all their resources and improve their cultivation to become fighters. Because only by truly reaching the level of a fighter can one truly have a place in the Mohist school, even if it's just being a guard. The reason why he was able to easily cross so many levels this time can only be said to be luck. If it weren't for encountering the Yufeng Ganoderma, whose energy is comparable to that of a 2nd-grade spiritual medicine, he wouldn't have been able to level up to the 6th level of Douqi Qi so quickly. If he didn't have the courage to go to trouble with a bear like Warcraft, then he wouldn't have the courage to earn his first bucket of gold from that Iron Fist mercenary squad. All of this is just luck, but you can't expect your luck to be so good every day. So, many times, a stable source of income is very important in any world. After purchasing Wufeng grass, Tang still has about 1,200 gold coins in his hands as a temporary need, and he also wants to improve his current life. Just like now, he is heading to the slave chamber in the city to buy 1 or 2 female slaves, of course, don't overthink it. Tang was just planning to buy a cook and a maid who could help him tidy up his room this time, with no other thoughts. Although there are many gentle and charming female slaves among these slave chambers who have been trained and can please their masters, their prices are really too expensive. This is not something that the current Tang can afford, so, in the end, he only spent over 100 gold coins to buy a servant in his 30s who specialized in cooking, and a nimble and eye-catching little maid. After taking the 2 people home, Tang went to the butcher's shop again and brought back the meat of the wild boar and green wolf that he had entrusted to them for processing. As for valuable things such as fur and teeth, he sold them directly. Even the smallest mosquito is still meat. The current Tang has not yet been able to ignore these small coins. So, another month passed. Although Tang has made many trips to Yunfeng Mountain, he has gained very little, only 15 points of energy. Name. Tang level. Douqi Qi Jodan skill. Nun fighting technique. Triple blade gang, Yancheng, available energy point. 18, low level. Originally, Tang was thinking about practicing another fighting skill, but when he realized that with his current cultivation level, a high-level yellow level combat skill was already enough for him to use. Even if he practiced more, it would only be a waste of energy points, so in the end, he extinguished this thought. Now he has reached the 9th level of Douqi. In the future, he not only needs to improve the Dou player, but also needs to reserve some for his own skill improvement. In this way, his energy points will be even more insufficient. Therefore, he doesn't need to think about anything now, he can only prepare for the next improvement. And during this month, what Mo Tang had been waiting for finally arrived in 3 days. It will be the time when the Mohist school recruits guards once a year. This opportunity only exists among the peripheral children of the Mohist school. And only those who have reached the 7th level or above of Douqi Qi can participate. However, there are no restrictions on age. As long as it's the Mo family, as long as your strength meets the standard, as long as you're not too old to get up, you can have the opportunity to become a family guard. The Mohist guards are divided into 3 classes, and those below the Dou level can only become the lowest level of 3rd-class guards, responsible only for guarding the Mohist Fang cities in various small and medium-sized cities under the rule of Yancheng. Those who have reached the level of Dou, but are below the level of 5-star Dou, can become 2nd-class guards and are usually responsible for escorting various commercial routes and caravans. Those who are above the level of a 5-star fighter and below the level of a fighter can become 1st-class guards. They are usually only responsible for guarding Mojia Castle, which can be said to be very safe, but their treatment is the best. As for the Mo family guards where Mo Tang's former father was, in addition to his strength, he must also have absolute loyalty, so even the entire Mo family is very rare. With the current strength of Mo Tang's Douqi Qi Jodan, he can only become the lowest level among the family guards, with 50 gold coins per month, as well as a non-essential healing medicine called hemostatic powder for healing injuries and a bone-strengthening vine for assisting cultivation. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Weapon Workshop. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Weapon Workshop. The process of recruiting guards in the Mohist school is very casual, just test your fighting skills. After registering, Mo Tang entered the Mo family castle for the first time and then lined up with dozens of Mo family children on the square to test their level. Douqi Qi. 7 sections. Mo Xiao, Douqi Qi. 7 sections. Level. Advanced. Very good. Inferior guard. Mo Tang almost didn't laugh. I always feel that the guy in charge of testing is deliberately playing with people, because he can see the young man named Mo Xiao walking into the 3rd-class guards formation with a pale face. Next. Mo Tang. Douqi Qi. 9 sections. Mo Tang, Douqi Qi. 9 sections. Level. Advanced. Very good. Inferior guard. Okay, Mo Tang, who was just mocking others, accepted this treatment himself. But he just smiled nonchalantly and walked into the 3rd-class guard formation. This time, the Mohist school only recruited a total of 68 guards, of which only 15 were above the Dou level, and none were above the 5-star Dou level. It's not that this group of people are not talented enough, but rather that only some young people in their 20s are participating in the life-saving event this time. As a collateral member of the Mohist school, being able to cultivate to the level of a fighter at the age of 20 is already considered a very talented existence. So the family manager in charge of testing this time is in a very good mood, and everyone will say, very good. After becoming a lower-level guard of the Mo family, in less than 2 days, Mo Tang was directly assigned to a small town called Iron-Making City under the jurisdiction of Yancheng. This small city, backed by Mount Qiyan, has a very developed foundry industry and is also the location of the largest weapons workshop in the hands of the Mohists. This time, Mo Tang was assigned here as one of the station guards of one of the 4 major weapon workshops of the Mo family in the city. Mo Tang was actually somewhat dissatisfied with being assigned to such a place. There's no other way, although it's said to be so high-end in the largest weapons workshop, it's actually one of the least lucrative areas in the Mohist industry. Although the continent of Douqi is a world of endless disputes, weapons are also indispensable for anyone who cultivates. But compared to other spiritual herbs, elixirs, magic cores, and techniques, it is much worse. Although this weapons workshop produces a large number of weapons for sale every day, the target audience is mostly ordinary mercenaries. How much will this person spend on purchasing ordinary weapons? As for the special weapons used by the strong, they are all specially customized and will not fall into the hands of these people, so it seems that the business of the weapon shop is very prosperous, but the profit is the lowest. Low profits mean that the people below can get less oil and water, so many guards are unwilling to come to places like this where birds don't poop. For this reason, Tang carefully pondered for a while before realizing that he had no understanding of human relationships and worldly wisdom. Surprisingly, no gift was given to the deputy commander in charge of assigning tasks. No wonder he was thrown into such a place. You deserve it, he cursed at himself in secret, and Tang had to go home and pack up his things before heading to the iron refining city. 3 days later. Xiao Yan Mountain Range, iron-making city. Tang arrived here with his guard waist tag and identity information. He is now reporting to the Mohist guard commander in the iron-making city. Although also known as the commander, the guard commander in this subordinate small town and the guard commander in the headquarters of the Mohist school are fundamentally different. In terms of strength alone, the two are far apart. The leader of the Iron City Guard is named Zhang Feng, who is considered a relative of the Mo family and has the strength of a 9-star Dou. Originally, Tang was pondering why this person did not choose to join the family's first-class guards and instead chose to come to such a place as the commander of their group of third-class guards. After seeing the other person's face, all these doubts were resolved. Although this phoenix is only in her 30s, her face is full of fatigue and she doesn't seem to be a cultivator at all at first glance. It looks like an excessive indulgence. If it were in Majia Castle, it would probably have been broken and thrown out by someone. The Mohist school is now bent on becoming stronger, but they don't want to see such a piece of mouse dung spoiling the whole pot of porridge. In this iron-smelting city, the emperor is far away, but no one cares about what he looks like. Sir, I'm Tang, come and report. This is my family waist token. Tang looked at the middle-aged man above with an unchanged expression. Zhang Feng tried his best to open his eyes, but he didn't even look at Tang's waist tag and identity information. He waved his hand and said, "All right, I understand. It happens that there is a shortage of manpower in the East 12 palaces right now. You can go there yourself." Seeing the other person's appearance, Tang naturally didn't show any intention of being polite to him. He just punched him and left. There is no need for such a person to have any deep friendship with him. Tang's heart became even heavier. If I had known earlier, it would have been better to give more money to the upper party and keep myself in Yancheng. Being randomly assigned to a neighborhood would have made my mouth full of oil. Now that I have come to such a place where birds don't poop, and have encountered such a muddy boss, do I really want to waste my good time here? How can this work? After Tang arrived at the East 12 mansions with a heavy heart, he did not expect to receive a double welcome from the local steward and the captain of the guards. The steward of Dongshifang is named Chen Lin, a thin middle-aged man. As for the captain of the guard, he is a 30-year-old young man named Chong, with the strength of a 2-star fighter. In addition, the 16 members of the entire East 12th Ward Guard team surprisingly had a general strength of 7 or 8 Dan Douqi, and Tang, who had a 9 Dan Douqi, became the second strongest in the neighborhood. This scene made Tang laugh and cry. "You're not being taken seriously, are you? No wonder Chen Lin, the steward, and Chong are so polite to themselves." With the strength of the 9 Dan fighting spirit at the age of 19, there is a possibility of becoming a fighting master or even a great fighting master in the future. In their eyes, this is an unlimited future. So no matter what the reason is, they will maintain sufficient attention to little geniuses like Tang. I don't know if I'm afraid that Tang might not be satisfied with the environment here. As the captain of the guard, Chong said during the introduction, "Actually, Tang, you're lucky to come to our East 12 palaces. Our East 12th district is very stable, and we don't have much to do on a regular basis. Unless there are occasional tasks that require us to take action, we can just stay in the district. Anyway, the mercenaries who come to our place are all low-level mercenaries. They don't have the courage to cause trouble in Mojiafang City. As for some miscellaneous matters below, just leave them to the other few and they won't need you at all. I see that you have also reached a critical moment now, brother. You should spend more time practicing hard and strive to gather the cyclone of the battle and become a fighter. So you just need to practice at home and don't have to report to me every day. As for the monthly salary that should be given to you, it will definitely not be less than yours. Rest assured. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Chen Lin. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Chen Lin. The remuneration mentioned by Mo Chong is not the monthly salary given by the family to the third-class guards, but another monthly reward given by the Eastern 12 houses to their respective guards. This kind of compensation is not only available in the East 12 neighborhoods, but also in any other place. Even different levels of guards can have different forms of additional income. Just like second-class guards responsible for caravan escort, they will also receive additional compensation from accompanying caravans, which can be considered an unwritten rule. However, places like Dongshirfang don't have as much oil and water, so the so-called remuneration is also pitiful. It can only be said that it is better than nothing. But after all, this is a weapons workshop, so there is one advantage, which is that Mo Tang can find a good weapon. The long sword that cost him tens of gold coins before has been broken by the little iron-backed bear. Now he only uses ordinary long knives issued by the third-class guards of the Mo family. This kind of thing can be used to chop down ordinary people, but if it really encounters a fierce battle, it is designated as unusable. The triple sword gang that Mo Tang cultivates, although powerful, also has high requirements for weapons, especially sharpness and toughness. Therefore, Mo Tang is ready to make another good sword for himself. Walking in the bustling market, circling around, without realizing it, Mo Tang slowly entered the depths of the market. Although this is a weapons workshop, it is not just selling weapons. Many mercenaries also set up stalls here to sell their items. Of course, this requires a significant fee to be paid to Fengshe. The items sold in the depths of this market are generally much more precious than those outside, so the customers who can come here to purchase are also mercenaries with some strength. Arriving at the largest weapons store in the neighborhood, before entering, Mo Tang saw Chen Lin, the former district magistrate who had a chance encounter, escorting a majestic man away. Judging from that big guy's appearance, he should have decent strength and be a big customer, otherwise he wouldn't have let Chen Lin personally escort him out. Huh, Captain Iron Wolf, don't worry, the weapons you need will definitely be delivered to the headquarters of your mercenary army in half a month. Chen Lin smiled at the big man. Thank you very much, Steward Tang. I'll bid you farewell. Stay. Watching the mercenary commander named Iron Wolf leave while Chen Lin is still there, smiling at his back, it can be seen that he has really made a big deal this time. Tang Steward. Mo Tang exclaimed. Chen Lin turned his head and a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. He immediately said, "Oh. It's Mo Tang, little brother. How come you have time to come to me?" Mo Tang also smiled and said, "Let's see if there are any weapons that are handy." Upon hearing these words, Chen Lin's eyes lit up. I was still worried about how to get involved with this promising young hero, but I didn't expect it to be delivered to my door. Ha ha ha, you're here. Chen Lin smiled as he pulled Mo Tang into the door. Other guys don't dare to say anything, but when it comes to weapons, I can still help old Tang. Brother, what kind of weapon do you want? If it's not available in this store, I can have someone customize it for you directly. Chen Lin spoke very boldly. At this moment, Mo Tang naturally didn't hesitate and said, "I need a long sword. The blade shouldn't be too wide, and the most important thing is to be tough and sharp." Chen Lin nodded slightly, it was not difficult for him. Brother, you came at the right time. Yesterday, the teacher from the weapon workshop just crafted an excellent long sword, which perfectly meets my brother's requirements. Follow me. After the two of them entered the store, Chen Lin had someone take out a wooden box that was about 1.2 meters tall, and then personally opened it, revealing a weapon similar to a cross knife from a previous life. The handle of this knife is wrapped in an unknown black leather, and the blade is shiny. There is even a faint green light flashing on the blade, making it a truly top-dot quality knife. Chen Lin looked at Mo Tang's expression with a hint of a smile in his eyes and said, "This sword was personally crafted by a master who has been forging it for 40 years in the weapon workshop. It is named Feng Ling. Although it is only cast from ordinary steel, after undergoing numerous trials and tribulations, the texture is tough. The blade has added green cold stone, which is unparalleled in sharpness and is a rare and excellent sword." Mo Tang nodded, feeling the sharp coldness of his fingers as he passed over the blade just now, which made him agree with Chen Lin's words. Just Mo Tang shook his head and covered the knife box. "What's wrong? Brother is not satisfied?" Chen Lin frowned and asked. "I'm not dissatisfied, it's because I don't have that much money to buy such a good knife." Upon hearing these words, Chen Lin breathed a sigh of relief in his heart, and then smiled boldly, saying, "Brother, you haven't made much of a gesture to come to my East 12th Lane. This knife is just a gift from my brother to meet you. Don't refuse, otherwise you won't treat me as a friend." For this kind of forced gift-giving behavior, Mo Tang wants to say, "Come on, be even more violent." As for the possible situations that may arise after accepting it, Mo Tang did not pay too much attention. It's just human relationships. For someone as lonely as him, sometimes it can be heavy, but sometimes it's nothing when one can truly grow up and gain status and power in the Mohist school, then returning this favor is just a matter of one sentence. As for whether the other party will use human relations as a threat or not, are you causing trouble? If the situation becomes too big to repay, then as long as the creditor is gone, it will be resolved. This matter has become familiar to many people in their past lives. Seeing Chen Lin's expression of, "I'm not happy anymore," Mo Tang could only reluctantly accept it. Upon seeing this, Chen Lin's face immediately changed into a smile as if it had changed, and he said, "That's right. Brother, I still hope that you can develop and help me in the future." Mo Tang put on a bitter smile and said, "Alas. As collateral children like us who have no money or power, without the support of the family's spiritual medicine, it's not easy to gather the cyclone of struggle. If it weren't for earning some rewards to purchase spiritual medicines and accumulate the fighting energy in my body, how would I do anything to protect at such a critical moment?" Speaking of this, Mo Tang's face once again darkened a bit. The scene became somewhat quiet, and Mo Tang's expression was lost. On the other side, Chen Lin's expression kept changing, with his right index finger unconsciously trembling and a hesitant expression. After about a cup of tea, Chen Lin seemed to have made some kind of determination. He looked at Mo Tang and said in a deep voice, "Brother, I know you have talent, but for people like us to stand out, having talent alone is not enough." Mo Tang nodded and listened quietly to the other person's words. "Brother, as for me, I don't have much ability, which means I have some talent in doing business. But after all, I am not a member of the Mohist school, and being able to manage the East 12 palaces is already the limit. At first glance, I thought you and I were destined, my brother. He has accumulated some savings over the years. Why don't you do it this way, brother? Whatever you need, just speak up. If I can help you, I won't refuse. I just hope that in the future, you will really make a name for yourself, and don't forget that I am such a person." End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Fighting Cyclone, Thunder Vigorous Chi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Fighting Cyclone, Thunder Vigorous Chi. After secretly reaching a deal with Chen Lin, the energy issue that Mo Tang had been worried about was finally resolved. When he was willing to voluntarily give himself a weapon worth at least 300 gold coins, Mo Tang had already realized a problem in his heart. That is, this weapon workshop may not be as dull as I thought, or, to put it another way, Chen Lin, the steward of the East 12 houses in front of him, is definitely a capable but greedy and ambitious person. I was sent to such a place by chance. If he truly has extraordinary talent for cultivation and is a genuine genius, then he doesn't mind practicing here peacefully and well. This kind of stable environment without any waves and without work is really suitable for him. But the problem is that his genius is fake. If there were no system, the original body he inherited for 19 years would only be a third stage of fighting energy, which can already determine that he can only be an ordinary person in this lifetime. The reason why he can obtain everything he has now is because he has a cheat finger, so if he doesn't find an opportunity to let the cheat work, he will be directly beaten back to his original form, which is not what Mo Tang wants. In the following time Mo Tang almost rarely appears in the local market. Every day, he either cultivates his fighting spirit or hones his fighting skills. In short, the impression he gives to outsiders is that he is constantly practicing hard. The advantage of this is that even if he breaks through faster in the future, he won't leave a too shocking impression on people. In this way, one can also pretend to be a hard-working genius and achieve more with one move. After about a month like this, Chen Lin also sent him many medicinal herbs that reached the first grade evaluation one by one. Although some of them do not contain many energy points, they have accumulated for such a long time and provided Mo Tang with 35 energy points. If it is considered to be of real value, it would probably be in the form of over 3,000 gold coins. For a small steward like Chen Lin, this is definitely bleeding a lot. Name: Mo Tang level. Douqi Qi Jodan skill. Nun fighting technique. Triple blade gang, Yancheng, available energy point. 53, low level, the energy point has once again exceeded 50, which is enough for him to break through the cultivator's cultivation techniques. Without hesitation, Mo Tang sat cross-legged on his own bed, ready to start breaking through. First, take out the yellow level advanced technique left by my father Moyin Thundering Qi. Thunder attribute yellow level advanced skill, a matching skill of triple sword gang. After the two are completed, they complement each other, and the sword gang's power displayed can be lower than that of Xian level combat skills. This was collected by the father Moyin with great effort, preparing to cultivate his own son well. Unfortunately, who would have thought that his son's qualifications were so poor? In the end, it was cheaper for me. Feeling for the scroll in his hand, Mo Tang slowly spread it out in front of him. Discovered the yellow level advanced technique Thunder Gang Qi. Will it be recorded? Yes/no. Yes. Thunder spirit successfully burned, consuming 1 energy point. Name: Mo Tang level. Douqi Qi Jodan skill. Thunder Vigorous Qi, beginner level, fighting technique. Triple blade gang, Yancheng, available energy points. 52, low level. What Mo Tang didn't expect was that this system could still actively record martial arts, so wouldn't he not have to work hard to understand it? I really don't appreciate my physical intelligence. However, this is also quite good, and the consumption is not high, which is completely acceptable. To increase the low-level energy points required for one starfighter by 36 points, do you want to increase it? Yes/no. Yes. Name: Mo Tang level. 1 star Do, pseudo, skill. Thunder Vigorous Qi, beginner level, fighting technique. Triple blade gang, Yancheng, available energy points. 16, low level, because at this time, he only condensed the Dou Cyclone and had not yet practiced any martial arts, so the character, pseudo, appeared on this 1-star fighter. As long as he introduces Thunder Vigorous Qi, he can immediately become a genuine Thunder attribute 1-star Dowser. Taking a light breath, Mo Tang closed his eyes slightly and his mind gradually sank into his body. Insights are an auxiliary skill that can only be mastered at the level of a fighter. The higher the strength, the more thorough the exploration of the situation inside the body. At the point where the mind sinks into the lower abdomen, a palm-sized milky white cyclone is slowly spinning, enveloping a layer of nebular-like milky white energy gas around the periphery of the cyclone. As Mo Tang gazed at the small cyclone with his heart, he nodded in satisfaction. Although the current volume of the cyclone was actually very small, the energy contained in it was definitely more than 10 times stronger than the previous 9-section fighting chi. The energy absorbed by the fighter before is almost fundamentally different from that of the Jodan Do. The energy absorbed by the fighter after is called the true Do Chi. Although there is only a one-word difference between the two, the difference between them is like a world of difference, with no comparability. Thunder attribute fighting spirit can be considered a very rare attribute on the mainland. This fighting spirit not only has strong attack power, but also comes with paralyzing effects, which is extremely headache-inducing during battles. Mo Tang was able to possess this attribute. It is unclear whether it is due to the original factors or the credit of his own system. Anyway, the current Mo Tang is already an absolute expert among the third-class guards of the Mo family. There are still 16 energy points left, and Mo Tang directly raised his martial arts Thunder Gang Chi to the level of Yancheng, spending 12 points. After just improving, when Mo Tang looked inside, he found that his fighting spirit quickly transformed into a silver-white fighting spirit at a speed visible to the naked eye. And at the very center of this fighting spirit, a dazzling silver spot appeared. Dazzling he clenched his fist, and although he was only a star fighter, it was impossible for him to unleash his fighting spirit. However, at this moment, he also felt that his strength had risen one step higher than when he had just gathered the whirlwind of the battle. Moreover, if Mo Tang guessed correctly, the thunder attribute of his fighting energy not only can paralyze opponents during attacks, but also can bring him many benefits if he uses the special nature of thunder to wash and refine his body from within. This is something the system cannot achieve, unless it is oneself who can find specialized martial arts and techniques to improve physical fitness. So, in the coming time, Mo Tang can start practicing his physical body with his fighting spirit when he has free time. Thinking of this, the mind controlled the cyclone, and Mo Tang's heart moved slightly. A silver-white fighting spirit quickly separated from the cyclone, and then rushed away as the mind pointed out. End of this chapter.